Hey everybody, Pure Insanity again, and I gotta tell you what, this build absolutely slaps Season 2. As a Druid Companion fanatic, I'm so excited to share my Season 2 update on my full Companion build. This build slaps so hard, it will confuse other players in events with you. I've had some good laughs while other players started changing direction and whatever they were looking at melted before they could even take a step over and over and over again. This is effectively the same build as my prior video, so if you're interested in the skill tree and gear choices and haven't watched it, please do. I wanted to get this video update out quickly, and there is possibly still fine-tuning, and as Endgame with all the Season 2 changes is yet to be fully tested with this build, I just wanted to get this out, so check out my prior video if you want some of those more details. That said, I will cover Season 2 specifics, including Vampiric powers and new gear affixes. I also have 4 of the 5 new summon boss fights to share, but this build is so powerful, you can pretty much ignore the game mechanics. I didn't beat Duriel, and I wouldn't waste the mats to summon him until you're really well geared and probably at least 90 plus. Curiosity got the best of me. I first got the mats, and I saw he was level 100, even though it was level 9. And I went ahead and tried, but yeah, I have no intention to try Duriel again until at least level 90. You absolutely need to see how hard this build slaps, but skip to the end if you just want to see the summon boss fights. During my last Helltide, I got 1100 cinders and a full level in 40 minutes. Nightmare dungeons less than tier 40, you can literally just walk through with button mashing. At this time, I've done up to tier 48, and that was easily done. I plan on leveling with tier 35 to 40 Nightmare dungeons in my 80s because they're so easy, and the effort for 40 plus just isn't worth it. I have no doubt I could do tier 50s at level 83, and the build will get even better, but it's double the time for just about a 20% benefit. The 5 Vampiric powers I'm using are Coven's Fangs, Feed the Coven, Prey on the Weak, Accursed Touch, and Hemomancy. All 5 are very synergetic with this companion build, and the reason why Season 2 may be the best season for this companion build, it can't get much better. First off, with Coven's Fangs, you get a 52% X multiplier for companion damage with an additional synergy with Accursed Touch. This companion build is also heavily leveraging Lucky Hit, synergizing this vampiric power even further. Feed the Coven is also Lucky Hit based, but it is a 60% chance to restore 10 primary resource and increase damage 10% X. This makes the vampiric power far superior to resource aspects, which allows replacing aspect of the umbral with an offensive aspect. Accursed Touch is also Lucky Hit based, but it adds Vampiric Curse to the non-companion skills. Vampiric Curse releases Shared Souls when casting a defensive skill, and as Earthen Bulwark is cast as a stun breaker, it is incredibly powerful mechanically. Using all 3 companions along with Aspect of the Stampede and Aspect of Shared Misery makes Prey on the Weak an excellent way to spread vulnerability. In addition to being able to spread vulnerability even before enemies are hit, it is a 16% X vulnerability damage multiplier, meaning the exploit glyph can be replaced with a different damage glyph. Replacing exploit completely is still TBD, but very likely with the damage bucket changes, which heavily nerfed vulnerability damage in Update 1.2. The best standalone vampiric power is without a doubt Hemomancy. Outside of this companion build, it has been noticed how powerful it is, but with this Druid Companion build, it is insane. I do anticipate a Hemomancy nerf in the near future, but there is almost no way to nerf this vampiric power enough where it is still not OP in this build. Update 1.2 brought some big buffs to fortification. Ferocious Wolfpack is arguably the best single fortification source now, with Earthen Skills being second. Druids have high health already, but I also noticed the Iron Feather Spirit Boon is a 14% X health multiplier. Prior to update 1.2 in Season 2, high health has been the red-headed stepchild to both armor and damage reduction. However, being able to deal 80% of your max life as physical damage to essentially the whole of the screen is ridiculously good. There are two, not just one, cherries on top of Hemomancy with this build. Ravens got a big buff in update 1.2, meaning between the range of both Hemomancy and Ravens, many enemies can be taken out before they're even on screen. Additionally, since Prey on the Weak is so good at spreading vulnerability, Ferocious Ravens can be replaced with Brutal Ravens. This gives you 2 additional Ravens to spread Vampiric Curse and another 40% X multiplier for Raven's passive damage. Combined with Coven's Fangs, this makes Ravens arguably, if not, the best companion in Season 2. Update 1.2 did make leveling above 50 easier, but that does not affect mob clearing and Nightmare Dungeon difficulty. It is yet to be seen if this build in Season 2 can compete with Stormwolf and or Pulverized builds, but I am confident it will based on my current progress and how well this build scales. The scaling in this build is a bit different than traditional scaling. Normally, scaling refers to how well damage itself can scale endgame. However, this build scales with how many enemies you're fighting at a single time. To explain, Companions and Hemomancy speed clear lower level mobs ridiculously well, but in the case mobs aren't cleared off screen, all other synergies with Companions and Vampiric powers become more powerful. More Vampiric curses and vulnerability are spread. This allows spreading crowd control effects more quickly and with more powerful mobs. As wolves damage more enemies and you cast more landslide, fortification ramps up. And as Hemomancy hits more enemies, you heal even more. Healing was a weaker part to this build, so Hemomancy is a tremendous benefit to this build. Additionally, the fortification buffs were changing fortification to be based off of max life instead of base life. Since this build is leveraging max life to do more damage with Hemomancy, max life is greatly increased, making fortification even stronger. In essence, it is perpetual life, fortification, and damage. Getting into the Nightmare Dungeon clips, this scaling is easily observed. Massive groups of more powerful mobs may take more time, but health typically remains full. Vampiric Curse is easily recognized on enemies, showing how well it spreads in mobs not easily cleared. This in turn increases the spread of vulnerability and souls released when casting Earthen Bulwark. Unleashed souls synergize with Hemomancy and Ravens for their range as they'll seek out enemies beyond the screen. In the case of large mobs and or elites, they'll do massive damage followed by the Earthen Bulwark's explosion. The gear affix change that really helped this build out is Total Armor, as this build really thrives in close combat speed clearing. Armor was a big issue. Total Armor affixes were increased and can be rolled on amulets now. Previously, armor benefit was capped at 7,300 for level 100, and I don't know if this was changed. That said, the total armor affix changes allow this build to have sufficient armor for close combat without even the aspect of obedience. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the Nightmare Dungeon clips run. Again, at the end, I've got 4 of the summoned bosses, and it's going to end with my death trying to do Duriel way under geared and at level 79. But hey, I hope that everyone who watched this video can see how good this build is, how well it will scale, and how it will be even OP Endgame. So, enjoy the rest, and until next time.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. 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 I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. I'm not ready yet. I do not have any potions.